Today we've got questions about brick tea, about the gingerbread episode that we just did, and also about the kitchen set here. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers with James Townsend and Son. Thanks to everyone for your comments and for watching and your great questions. So our first question is from a Noble Design Media. And she asks, I'm wondering whether 18th century people used soaked, sprouted, or fermented grains to cook with, or just use dry, and whether they believe that was healthier for them or better for them. Well, it's an interesting topic. Just within the culture that we're looking at here, the English and the North Americans, not outside that, because I'm not an expert on other situations, especially in the 18th century. But typically, as far as I know, they very rarely used especially sprouted or fermented grains. They certainly did pickling and other fermenting, but the grains, I don't have very many references to that. They did use some soaking of grains. They would soak oatmeal overnight, and then they would strain that off and use that to make a flummery or something similar. But sprouted grains, that was even a problem. When their grains sprouted, that destroyed the gluten. It didn't make very good bread, and so they complained about that. They had to adulterate the flour. So that was a negative as far as they were concerned. At least that's all I've got for that question right now. If anybody else has any great input on that, it would be great to comment about that down in the comments. Oh, one last little thing about that. I didn't mention beer or fermented drinks. Obviously they did sprout grains and malt them to use in the brewing process, but I didn't think that's specifically what you were referring to. Our next question is Praja. I think that's how it's pronounced. In the 18th or the English gingerbread episode, they're asking, this looks almost brownie-like in texture when you first cut it or tore into it, was it? Yes, it had a very brownie-like texture, very soft and chewy and a wonderful texture. The Bacon Wizard is asking on the chemical leavening series, that last episode we did, he says, is that a block of pressed black tea behind you on your left? Yes, black tea is brick tea is one of the items that we offer in our catalog. We have black and green, and yeah, that's what you were seeing in that video. So I've got two questions here, and they're kind of bundled together. They're about the kitchen here. Allison Reese asks, the kitchen you're filming in, where is that kitchen? It looks lovely. And James McQuire says, the kitchen looks to be of cob construction, and it's exactly like the home I hope to build over the next 2 years. Is this a separate building or part of an entire cob home? Well, the building here, or the thing you see here, is just a set. It's just part of a building that I made to emulate that kind of a structure, an 18th century home, either made of stone or cob. This actually is a pole building. And the walls here are just OSB, and then I've stuccoed over the top of them to emulate that kind of a look. The house that's right over here is a straw bale home that I live in, and it has that same kind of look. I thought it would look really good for this. It does look very similar to stone buildings that have been plastered over, or to a cob structure. And James, I hope you have luck with your cob structure. It's one of those projects that I would love to do in the future. Again, I want to thank everyone for watching and your great encouragement. Keep those questions coming. If you've got questions, whether it's related to our 18th century cooking series, the 18th century in general, to James Townsend and Son and our products, any of those kinds of questions, I would love to hear. Make sure to give us your questions in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, you can see our website and request a print catalog.